Hey guys, welcome back to EF Live. Today I've got, as you can see to my that direction, I've got Bree Moreau with me today. We have a really good show lined up for you. This is, going to be pretty exciting, and it's something that can really help you with any business that you have on Google, any business that you have a website on Google. I mean. And we're going to be touching on that in just a sec. It's a great topic. But before we do that, welcome to EF Live, brought to you by Empire Flippers. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and post in the comments on YouTube and Facebook and let us know where you're watching from, where you're hanging out from. And definitely let us know what kind of information you want to see, whether you have an affiliate site or an e-commerce site or anything like that, and we'll try to answer some of your questions and let you know how this information caters to you. So, Bree, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Jake. How are you?
Doing good. So, I just realized that I did something quite silly. I spent all this time on the countdown video trying to get myself in the top right corner, and I made myself a nice little outline. It looked pretty decent. And then what I did is I popped on there with like 2 minutes to go and said, hey guys, you heard me. And
Yeah.
like, hey guys, welcome. We have a great show lined up. We'll be getting started in about a minute or two. Stick around. And I didn't add my mic as a source because I was messing around with the visual part of it. So everyone just saw me moving my mouth without audio. So that's kind of funny. Sorry about that, guys. If you saw that, what I was saying is stick around because we have a great show. Bree, so you're obviously coming from Australia, as you can tell by your accent. What do you do for a living, and why are you someone to to listen to about SEO?
Well, basically, the first thing is I'm actually in Bali. So I live in Bali. So I am Australian, but I live in Bali. And my history with SEO, I've been doing SEO for about 11 years or 10 plus years now. The last probably like 5 years was doing client-based SEO for large digital marketing agencies, very large companies in Australia and internationally. And the past 2 years, I've been running my own company, which is called White Light Digital Marketing. So I've got over 10 years experience, and I've been doing white hat SEO for a very long time, specializing in technical SEO and also content and on-page
Mhm.
SEO.
And you mentioned white hat SEO, and I think the question, we've already touched on this on the series what white hat SEO is, and if you're looking for that, definitely check out a past episode when we cover that. But I guess my question to you is, do you ever do black hat? Do you ever do work with PBNs and stuff like that?
So I started doing SEO in 2007, and back then everything that we did was pretty much black hat, but there was no black hat because basically what happened was on May 25th, 2011, the first Panda update rolled out and it decimated all my sites, all my affiliate sites and all the client sites I had working as well. So I used to dabble in the black hat arts, but back then it wasn't black hat because there was no algorithm updates and it wasn't considered black hat until that first algorithm update hit. So as far as PB events are concerned, no, I don't touch them. Um, there's nothing that I do because most of the companies I work with tend to be large e-commerce and large size businesses. So I just try to keep everything as clean as possible because I don't want to affect any profit from.
Hmm. And that's kind of a good point to bring up that while, and as we've touched on this in the past, but PBNs can be a good tool to kind of jumpstart, and it can be good. And that there are plenty of businesses that use it and use it well, but it is a risk. It is a risk, and today we're going to be touching on some of the strategies you can take when just trying to improve your white hat SEO, and which can be even more powerful in the long run. Let's see, who do we got in YouTube and Facebook chat, and then we're gonna dive right into our content here. We have Jack Golding, bugger, 12 a.m. in Australia, and I'm about to go to bed. Well, sir, I mean, I guess I can't sit here and tell you that. Um, I guess I can't tell you to stay up, but we do have a really good show for you. So if you do stick around. You won't be disappointed. I went to bed at like 3 a.m. my time, so 12 a.m. is nothing. There's a doorbell. Family has the electrician coming, so if you hear that, that's what that is. We've also got Ben Koppinens in chat. How are you doing? And anyone else who, let's see, anyone else who is doing, well today? I mean, everyone else who is watching, I hope you're doing well. Let's dive into this. So our topic here is going to be doubling your SEO success with targeted keyword research and on-page SEO. So, I mean, that's kind of a mouthful, but the key here is obviously the double your SEO success. I mean, yeah. So, first off, Bree, when you think targeted keyword research, what does that mean to you?
So basically, targeted keyword research means picking the right kinds of keywords. So there's three main types of keywords out there. There's basically navigation, there's knowing ones. So which is the best flat screen TV in 2018. There's doing ones like buy flat screen TV. And there's navigational terms like Samsung as a brand. So what the important thing to do with your keyword research, firstly, is to figure out which keywords you're after. And most people are after buy intent keywords, especially with websites that are on Empire Flippers and affiliate sites. People are looking to, buy a couch or buy red shoes or buy a backpack. So you need to firstly filter out the keywords you actually need to go for. That's the first thing. The second thing you need to do is actually look at the metrics that you're going to do the keyword research with. And the most important thing here is that you use your current rankings. So if anyone knows what the rankings are, basically, if you're ranking in position 3, it means that you're in third position on Google. So you need to make sure that you have your current rankings, your average monthly searches for the keyword term. And we also use keyword difficulty from Moz. I'm pretty sure some of some of the listeners will know what Moz is. It's a software that basically does a lot of things in SEO, but basically we use the keyword difficulty from Moz. And these three metrics is pretty much what we use to do proper keyword research. Now,
yeah, so there's a lot of, tools out there that can help you, and we'll touch on some more of those tools and give you recommendations in a sec. But I know you said it, but just to kind of really hammer home the three main kinds, can you go through those three intents again?
So there's knowing, there's the no query intent, do query intent, and navigational query intent. So the important thing here is a no query intent is basically best flat screen TVs in 2018. This is kind of like long form content. It's a big blog post with lots of reviews about TVs. A do query intent basically is kind of transactional. It's like buy flat screen TV. And what you're going to have in these search engine results will be e-commerce stores, Amazon, and those kind of shops. Navigational is going to be basically brand terms. So people typing in Samsung, and this is going to have pretty much brand terms in it. So people just type into the search query like Samsung or any other TV brand, and that's what navigation is. So it's really important that you figure out, because each of those, even though you have flat screen TVs in each of those keywords, or something related to that in the three different intents, the search results will be completely different. And that's really important to understand.
Are those three terms something that has been defined by you and your team, or are those like well-known terms?
It's pretty much known if you've been around the industry for a while, it's pretty much those are the terms. So when you have a keyword list of 500 keywords, you need to basically be able to filter very quickly through those keywords and figure out which ones are the keywords you need to go after. So in doing that, you're able to figure out which are the buy intent keywords, the do keywords like buy TV or get massage, or whatever the term is.
And in the slides we threw up, we had a couple tools that you could use. let's kind of run through them one by one and talk about how they benefit the user. So first off, what is AdWords Keyword Planner and how do you use it?
Okay, so AdWords Keyword Planner is actually it's actually Google's AdWords tool, and this is pretty much the basis of all the other keyword
Mm-hmm.
tools for the specific keywords and the average monthly search volume. So essentially, AdWords Keyword Planner is a free tool that Google offers to you. However, there's limitations with it. It doesn't give you many keywords, and if you don't have a paid account in AdWords, it'll only give you ranges of keywords. It might give you from 100 to 1,000 as a range for the amount of monthly searches for that specific keyword term, but it won't tell you there's 500 or
Mm-hmm.
600. It'll only do that if you have a budget. Now, the thing is with like average monthly search volume for a specific keyword term is Google's giving you kind of an approximation. There's nothing set in stone. So it's really important to understand that too, that basically as much as it says there's 100 searches for that specific keyword term, there probably is a lot more related to those terms, but it's not concrete.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first tool. And we put that in there because if people are doing SEO for free, then obviously it's important that they have a tool that they can use. And it's pretty much the industry standard to start off
Mm-hmm.
with. Now, the three other tools are the three main tools in SEO. There's Ahrefs, SEMrush, and Moz. And these are the three industry standard tools for your basically SEO software. Now, Ahrefs is my personal
Mm-hmm.
favorite and a lot of people's personal favorite. It's kind of ironic because we're running a conference and Ahrefs is the sponsor. I also work with SEMrush as well, so I do a lot of work with them too. So kind of conflicting. But I'll go through the pros and cons of each piece of software. So Ahrefs is the best, the most comprehensive software tool for us. It's much stronger in backlink analysis, and also its keyword search functions is really, really cool, and its traffic searching functions is really cool. So we actually prefer Ahrefs to use, and that's what we use pretty much every day. However, SEMrush we use as well. Now, SEMrush we only use basically, let's just say we have a keyword term like buy flat screen TV. There's a specific function in SEMrush, which is the content magic tool, which we use sometimes, and it allows us to get a massive keyword list of keywords based on that keyword, based on the original seed keyword. Now, this for SEMrush is the best tool for us for that. We found it gives us the most keywords in that
Mm-hmm.
situation. And we use Moz specifically for the keyword difficulty, because the keyword difficulty in Moz we found to be the most reliable and consistent. Ahrefs, SEMrush, and Moz all offer keyword difficulty. However, we've found that Moz is basically the industry standard and is the most reliable for us
Mm-hmm.
to use. So we kind of chuck all the tools in there and kind of show the positives of all the tools because, people use different tools.
And you would absolutely recommend using one of these tools, right? Don't try to work on your SEO without it.
100%, because basically firstly you can get a free trial with most of these tools anyway, so just get in there and get a free
Mm-hmm.
trial if you're not committed to buying the software. um, However, as I said to you before, the AdWords it's very limited with the amount of keywords it gives you, and it's not going to give you all the keywords you might need. You might find that if you start looking for keywords around buying flat screen TV, AdWords keyword planner might only give you like 50 or 60 terms, whereas, Ahrefs, Moz, or SEMrush might give you like 200 or 300 terms. And it's those little long tail ones that you're after. It's the long tail, the very specific niche keywords that you really, really want
Mm-hmm.
to target. So it's so worth the investment just to do your keyword research with a
Mm-hmm.
paid tool.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And that's kind of the thing with a lot of the topics that we've covered. I remember when we were talking about getting your accounting in line for selling your business, doing your P&Ls and stuff like that. And uh, the options are, hire someone to do it, hire an accountant, hire someone with experience in creating those P&Ls, do it yourself, or use some kind of online tool, which kind of help. If you want to go the do yourself route, definitely having tools to help you, especially when they're pretty relatively cheap for the service they provide, they can really help your business. Um, oh,
Uh,
go ahead, Bri.
100%. we 100% we use Zero for our bookkeeping,
Hmm.
and there's no way we'd go back to a spreadsheet at all. Like, yeah, obviously, software is there
Hmm.
for a reason.
So before we move on, I got to shout out Viola in Chiang Mai. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Chiang Mai in Thailand, correct? Do I know my world geography? I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure
Yes.
Chiang Mai.
So Viola's my business partner,
Okay.
actually.
Viola, welcome to the show. Let us know if you have any questions or if you just want to call Bree out on something. So, we're here to have a good time, and I will actually hopefully be visiting Thailand sometime this summer. I'll be in Vietnam. I'm leaving next week, so I'll still be in the U.S. for the show next week, and then after that, I'll be leaving. Um, so, Polonius asked, "How about SERPstat? Do they work okay for SEO?"
Honestly, I haven't used it, so I can't give you an
Mm-hmm.
honest answer on that one because there's hundreds of SEO tools out there. The three that I mentioned are the industry standard, so we don't really deviate much
Mm-hmm.
further from that.
Okay, so but Polonius, let us know if you do have any other questions. We will be doing a full Q&A, although I'll try to be pulling relevant questions as we go. But we will be doing a dedicated Q&A segment at the end, so definitely feel free to fill that chat box with questions. Okay, so moving on here, Bree. The thing that you need to do is to choose your target keywords. So kind of run us. You outlined this to me in two phases. Let's run through them.
Okay, so the phase one. So the way that we do this is we want to target keywords that are ranking. Obviously, we know that most of the traffic happens in the top three positions. So there's normally 30% are in position one. So 30% of the traffic will hit the position one keyword results. Position two gets about 15%, and then position three gets about 10%. So you need to be in the top three positions for whatever keyword term you're going for, because everything below position three, the traffic just drops off like the commission.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so what we like to do is we like to look at keywords that are positioned between position 4 and position 30, and we would try to bring those ones up into position 3, or from position 30 to position 10. Because if we move something from position 80 to position 50, we might have moved up 30 positions on the ranking, but we're still not going to have any traffic on page 5 of Google. So what we like to do firstly is to basically filter out what keywords we're already ranking for. And the best and quickest and most efficient way to do that is to use Ahrefs organic keywords function. There's a very easy function on Ahrefs. You just put your URL for the website you're working on into Ahrefs, and there's an organic keywords function there. You click the button, and it will show you all the rankings you have for specific organic keywords. Now, the reason why we do it this way is if we do normal keyword research where we're trying to guess all the keywords using Keyword Planner, we might be ranking for keywords we're unaware of. So if we use Ahrefs organic keywords, it's going to find all the keywords we're ranking for. So it's very, very
Mm-hmm.
efficient. So what we do here, so normally we take an Excel, we export all the data from Ahrefs, and we have an Excel spreadsheet. So normally we do this actually as a practical workshop. So I'm just going to walk you through it. And then we do a little filter on the Excel worksheet and go from position 4 to position 30. And that way we have all the keywords we can
Mm-hmm.
target. Now, if you have a new site, then what we like to do is use competitor sites who are ranking for the keywords that you want to rank for, and we see what they're doing. And we can use the same process. We don't have to go from position 3 to position 30, but we use the same process and see what keywords they're ranking for. And that way, we're going to get a really quick and efficient way of basically doing keyword research. It saves us having to painstakingly go through and select individual keywords because we can see what they're ranking for and filter based on what other competitors are ranking for.
So something that I've heard when talking about SEO and targeting keywords and such, and I've also heard it in PPC, is when you target these keywords, do you go after long tail keywords, or which would be so say you're selling water bottles. I have this within reach. So let's say you're selling water bottles, and your long tail keyword could be something like blue water bottle with a filter. Whereas a regular keyword would just be water bottle or filtered bottle or something like that. So, Bree, what do you generally look for there?
Yes, long tail is
Mm-hmm.
king. So long tail, there's less traffic in long tail. However, the traffic converts much higher because it's much more targeted search. So the way that we normally work is if we're working with a new website or a new client, we go for all the long tail keywords first. Let's just say you've got water bottle at the top, and then blue water bottle, then blue water bottle with pink
Mm-hmm.
loop. So we're going to pick all the long tail keywords first because they're going to be easy wins for us. Once we have targeted all those keywords and we're ranking for those keywords, then we go once up in the hierarchy. So we'll go for blue water bottle and red water bottle and pink water bottle. And once we're ranking for all those keywords, then we go for water bottle because gradually over time, your site becomes an authority based on the long tail
Mm-hmm.
keywords. But long tail is always the first thing to go for.
So let me just reiterate, or I reiterate in the form of a question. Long tail first and establish yourself. And then as you become more established in the niche, go branch out and go for those shorter keywords that have more competition. Okay.
Exactly.
So now let's get back to our, choosing keywords. So now that you've gone through phase one, what's phase two?
So phase two is once you've exhausted the top 3 to 30 keywords that you're going for, you then have to start targeting other keywords. So that's where we start looking for those buy intent keywords. So let's just say we're going for the example of flat screen TV. We'd be looking for, as I said before, buy flat screen TV or buy Samsung flat screen TV. So we're looking for those specific kinds of keywords. Then what we do is we get the keyword difficulty metric from Moz. Oh, excuse me, I forgot to add the keyword difficulty in the first one as well. So in phase one, we obviously use keyword difficulty as well from Moz. And then obviously in phase two, we also use keyword difficulty too. So Moz's metric is a scale from 0 pretty much to 100. And it goes up kind of exponentially. And what we like to say is anything from keyword difficulty from 0 to 20 is quite easy to attain. Most websites, a new website within probably 6 months' time should be able to get some rankings on that if you do your SEO.
Mm-hmm.
Anything from position 20 to 30, we consider kind of like intermediate difficulty, and it has to be quite an established website to kind of get to that piece. Anything from 30 to 50 is getting complicated and hard and will take a lot more time and a lot more resources. Anything from 50 upwards, at this point in time, for most of the people on this webinar, would probably just avoid those keywords because they'd be too competitive. Competitive keyword terms would be something like, buy credit cards, insurance, and keyword terms like that. So very, very high money, high traffic keywords.
Mm-hmm. And
but yeah, just
sorry, I was just gonna you finish, and then I was gonna add something.
No, I was just going to say, so obviously what we're targeting here mainly is 0 to 20 is the primary focus. If we can get lower keyword, the better. And if you've got anything between 20 and 30, then you can probably consider that as well. But we just want to keep in that range just to make it easy.
Before I say what I was going to say, I was going to ask, I was just going to kind of hammer home the point of why we want to do SEO. I guess I'll just say it, driving in organic traffic, that if you establish a strong foundation, it can really help you in the long run. It's a lot of work getting started. As I'm sure you know, Bree.
Yeah, so Tim Solo has a new course out on the Ahrefs website. It's Blogging for Business, it's called. And he talks about the spike of hope. And it's actually been coined by Rand Fishkin. Now, when you release, like if some content of yours goes viral, you get this initial spike from, your email to your email list. You might share it on social media and people look at it. And then you get this spike of traffic. Then the spike of traffic just diminishes up to nothing. And what you're essentially doing in that situation is you're pretty much just speaking to your own audience anyway, because you're sending out to your email list and you're getting shares on Facebook. You might have a few new users from that, but realistically, it's users you already have already or people that visit your website already. Now, with SEO, what you're trying to do is you're trying to broaden the net and trying to gradually increase people that haven't been to your website. Now, it takes a lot more time to build that up, but once that starts coming through, it's the gift that keeps on giving. obviously if your SEO is good and you've got a good strategy, you should be able to maintain some really good positions. And it's not that kind of spike of hope where you create one piece of content, you'll get some views and some people on your website, and it will drop off. If you create one really quality piece of content, you might get between 1,000 to 5,000, or even if it's just 200 visitors a month, but that's compounded over however long it stays in those rankings for. So it's a long-term game. It takes a long time to get the rankings, but once you get them, it's the most valuable form of traffic you can get.
And once you get them, it just keeps on coming. The traffic is, I don't want to say forever, because obviously someone else could come in and have better SEO if you're not working at it, but for all intents and purposes, it's forever, and it'll just keep driving organic traffic to your website in the future. Jack Golding, our guy who's staying up now, 12:30 his time. I'm glad you're enjoying the show.
Hey, Jack.
We will do the Q&A at the end, so keep asking the questions, but he says, does your domain authority change how you should look at keyword difficulty, or is it really only backlinks?
No, you're 100% right there, Jack. So basically your domain authority, your page authority, I didn't want to get too complex. I knew that someone would be thinking that. So if your domain authority is a metric from Moz to basically figure out how authentic your website is. Let's say authentic, that's the word. And domain authority is for across the whole website. So like if you have a website like the bbc.com, the domain authority that's going to be very, very high compared to someone's, local mechanic shop, because it's a very, very small website. So you need to basically you have a domain authority for the whole website, and you also have a page authority for the specific page that's ranking for that specific keyword term. So there's two different metrics there. Now, if you're targeting keywords that have a keyword difficulty of around 30, if you have a domain authority of 30 or a page authority of 30, then you're in the zone. So that means your keyword difficulty is relative to domain authority or the page authority that you're targeting. So if you have a domain authority of 50, then it's going to be easier for you to get any keyword difficulty terms with a 50 on it as well. So it's relative, the keyword difficulty is relative to your domain authority and your page authority. It's a very good question. Thanks.
Yeah, good question. And keep in mind, any other questions you have, keep them coming. We love the engagement, and we want to be here to help you. But we do have to, keep going with this presentation here. So we have an excellent graphic here that Bree provided me, laying out how he structures his content. So let me throw this up here for you guys can see what I'm talking about, and then Bree will kind of walk you through it. So this right here is, as you see at the top, it basically gets more and more specific the lower you go. And Bree, can you talk about outlining that?
Sure. So basically, as you can see there, it's the home page is about power tools. So this is going on from our conversation before, Jake, about the water bottles. So what we want to do is the long tail, as you can see, is at the bottom. All the supporting posts, like cordless drills, cordless planers, cordless hammer. So these are all your long tail keywords. Then you've got the short tail keywords here, which is basically cordless power tools and so electric power tools and so forth. And then you just have your main keyword, which is power tools. So what you're trying to do when you're doing the information architecture for your website is to make sure you have everything put into silos, and we call them content silos. So the first silo would obviously be from the cordless power tools and everything below that. And the way this works is we want to target the keyword term cordless power tools. And in order to do that, we need to show Google that we're relevant for that specific keyword term and other keyword terms related to that. And this is why you have the supporting post below it called cordless drills, cordless planers, and cordless hammer. The reason why we have this is it's showing Google that we're relevant for cordless power tools plus all these other terms. You need to think that basically Google in a split second It's choosing a website about cordless power tools over the millions and millions of other websites out there and delivering that result to the person typing it to Google. So we need to make sure that we back up our information with supporting pages to show Google, hey, this is a website about power tools because we have this page on power tools, plus all these other pages. So it's really, really relevant for power tools. And as you can see here, between this, as you can see the way that the lines are going from power tools to cordless power tools down to the cordless hammer, cordless planers, this is the way we need to link our pages. And we need to interlink between all the supporting posts and then link up to the category above it. It's hard for me to know if I'm making much sense. Is that all?
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm, normally try to not keep the attention off of our face. I try to go back to our faces, but this is interesting and tying it all together well. So keep going.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically, the way this works is we have one target keyword per page. So obviously, the cordless power tools one will have the target keyword is cordless power tools. Then we have 3 supporting keywords, and as we can see here, we have cordless drills, cordless planers, cordless hammer. So we're going to create a piece of content that's called cordless power drills, with the URL with the keyword in the page title, everything else. I'll go into that in the next slide. And then we're going to have those 3 supporting keywords in the content too. Then we're going to link that page to the pages below that as well. If you build out content silos like this, it's really, really powerful for Google. It's really targeted, really relevant, because basically what you're doing is you're helping Google to show that you're specifically about the keyword terms that you're going for. And it just makes it a lot easier for Google to basically categorize your data.
At the end of the day, now talking about this, at the end of the day, is your whole goal to rank for power tools?
Yes, that's the long-term goal. The short-term goal is to go for the supporting ones like cordless drills. And then what we find is that if we start hitting the supporting posts really well and we create those pages, then we're going to get a lift in cordless power tools. And then once we get a lift in cordless power tools, it kind of goes up the ladder. Like the more supporting content you have in there, the more it lifts power tools. Because it's just validating and validating. So by the time you start working on power tools, you will find that you'll actually be ranking quite well for it anyway, because it's all leading towards power tools.
And another thing to keep in mind here is that, obviously I'm with Empire Flippers. I got it on my shirt. And, we're here with Empire Flippers. And what we do is we obviously, broker the sale of online businesses. And I do seller interviews with all the sellers and talk about their businesses, and potential buyers can listen to that, get information. Now, the reason I bring that up now, the relevance, is because a lot of times I'm on these seller interviews, and to no fault of anyone, because everyone obviously has the skills that they're talented at. They're better at some things than others, but a lot of times, if a buyer comes in with SEO, who's knowledgeable in SEO and can improve that, there's just a lot of ways that you can improve these businesses. And if you keep it yourself, there's a lot of ways to improve your business. And also having a strong foundation with SEO, ranking high on Google, being able to say, I am the #1 ranking for this keyword, will allow you to get more from the sale, obviously, if you're ranking for these high keywords. SEO is very, very important, whether you are planning to keep the business, grow the business, buy it, sell it. And it's, as Bree was talking about earlier, one of those channels that it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving, wouldn't you say?
100%, yeah. And so I've obviously looked at I haven't done much looking at Empire Flippers websites, because obviously your domains are hidden. But on obviously other websites that I've used for looking at buying websites, it's really, really easy to see whether someone's done SEO or not. And it's really, really easy to come in there and optimize a lot of things really, really quickly. So it's important as someone who's a website owner, whether you're buying or selling or own a website, to optimize for SEO, because at the end of the day, if you're not optimizing for SEO, you're leaving money on the table.
Jack, so would you write a few bits of content on specific things about drills and then try to write a catch-all article about drills when your backlinks are larger so the keyword difficulty isn't too hard?
So can you repeat the question
Yeah.
there, sorry?
So would you write?
Oh yeah, I can see it now.
Okay,
Okay, I
cool.
can see it. Yeah, so what you do is you actually you create those, every one of those boxes that you see is a specific page of content. So we create those specific pages of content.
No, I think we got it.
Well, the thing is, yeah, so basically those boxes are a specific page of content. Um, you write a catch-all article about drills when your backlinks are much larger, the keyword difficulty isn't too hard. No, so basically the first thing you do is you create the content and then you start backlinking afterwards. So if we start creating the content, we see how we rank. And if we're ranking not as good as we'd like to rank, then we consider backlinks. If we obviously put a piece of content up and then we start ranking, then that's fine. But we obviously, it's much quicker and much higher ROI is to fill out the content silos, chuck up, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 words on a website, see how it sticks, see what happens, and then make an assessment from there. I hope that answers your question, Jack.
So moving on here, now that we've talked about how you're going to outline the content, you need to outline your web page, where the content's going to be hosted. So let's walk through your web page outline here.
Okay, so, and this basically goes on from what we were just explaining. So let's assume that we're talking about smoothie recipes. We should be talking about power drills, but let's talk about smoothie recipes for now, just to make it more fun. So the most important thing here is you need to have the main keyword, which is obviously smoothie. In this situation, we're going for smoothie recipes.
Whoa.
You must have.
Sorry, it opened again, and I was playing it through. I saw there was a comment on Facebook, and so I was trying to open it, and but it wasn't loading, so I reloaded the page, and my apologies if you heard us twice. But Daniel Gomez, props on the soundproof room. So good job, Bree. You came prepared.
Thank you. It's actually quite funny because another one of our friends who's also an SEO called Tommy Griffith did a webinar in here. It's a very popular place because we work at a co-working space in Bali called Dojo. And they thought that he had been kidnapped by ISIS. So I hope no one thinks I've been kidnapped by ISIS. Normally, outside in Bali, it's 10 p.m. at night here, but it's actually beautiful. Oh, but it doesn't look like that.
All right, let's get back to it. Sorry to cut you off there.
That's totally fun. I like to talk about these kinds of things. So smoothie recipes. So you need to have the keyword in the URL. So you would have example.com/best smoothie recipes as the URL. The page title might be best smoothie recipes. The meta description would be like, are you looking for a smoothie recipe that's healthy and da-da-da? You have to have it in there. And obviously H1 is your heading one. And you want to have the keyword in the first paragraph and the last paragraph and in the body of text. Now this basically, so let's just go for that again. URL, page title, meta description, heading one, first and last paragraph, and body of text. Now, this is kind of like the basic way that we work. And we get more complicated and sophisticated past this point, but this is what we normally recommend to do for everyone. You don't need to stuff your keywords to 2% density and all this kinds of stuff. As long as your content is, let's just say 1,000 words in length, and it has those specific keywords in it, and it's quality content, it's got related keywords in there, then you're going to find that Google is going to know that's a page about green smoothies. Smoothie recipes. It's not going to have any problems realizing it's a page about smoothie recipes. So if you follow this structure, you're going to do very, very good. Now, the same thing that we talked about before. So with the cordless drills, I should have used the cordless drills example, would have been better. Like, let's just say the heading one would be smoothie recipes, and a related term would be green smoothies. So we'd have that as a heading 2, and a heading 3 would be green smoothies with spinach. So what we're saying to Google is, this web page is about smoothie recipes, and it's backed up by evidence because it's got a H2 with green smoothies and backed up by more evidence saying green smoothies with spinach. And if we have this structure in our website, we're going to do really, really well with Google because it's very, very clear this is a page about smoothie recipes. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I mean, it kind of goes back to the graphic on the prior slide about organizing your content as broad, more specific, most specific, and targeting those down, down at the end, long-term keywords. And in this case, your long tail keyword would be green smoothies with spinach. And then you could have green smoothies with lettuce. I don't know if there are lettuce smoothies, but it was the first other green vegetable I thought of. But yeah, so that's kind of exactly what you're doing here.
Yeah, and that's and this is helping Google to understand more about it. And if you put those long tail keywords in the subheadings and in the content, because essentially you want to try and rank for smoothie recipes, green smoothies, and green smoothie with spinach. Because why rank for one when you can rank for three? And this is kind of the sneaky way to do it. As long as it's a relevant keyword, you should be able to rank for all three on that page.
Viola says kale and cucumber, but lettuce totally works too. Yeah, I'm sure. So then you have this internal linking to other relevant pages.
Yeah, so this goes back to the same the content silo that we saw before. How we had the 3 pages together at the bottom with the call list power drills, or those 3 different pages. You need to link between those 3 different pages horizontally, and then you need to link vertically to the pages above you. So you always link up one. So let's just say we had the green smoothies with spinach page. We would link across to the green smoothies with cucumber page, and also to the green smoothies with kale page. And then we want to link up to the green smoothies page as well. And this is really, really important because what people don't realize is that internal linking has quite a lot of power and is considered a backlink in Google's eyes. So a lot of the time you don't need to go out and get backlinks. What you need to do is actually create a really good internal linking structure. And that's what we do before we even start backlinking. We just go in and audit the internal links, and then we go in and create those internal links in a specific way that makes Google understand which is the target keywords and which is
And do you see Jack's question on internal linking? Is internal linking to other pages complementary to HTML sitemap and breadcrumbing?
Yes, it is. Definitely. Yes, internal. I mean, that's different types of internal linking, but we're just talking more about internal linking within content. But we can do it obviously with breadcrumbs and HTML sitemap as well, and also footer links as well, and mega menus like navigational menus as well.
Viola, I guess I will have to sometime because I clearly know nothing. I did notice that Bree didn't mention internal linking to the green smoothies with the lettuce page. So, clearly I need to go learn my green smoothies. The last slide, I guess, that we have is talking about making your on-page SEO data-driven.
Yeah, so this is kind of like the next level. So I told you in the last slide, forget it. Okay?
That's what you like to hear.
So that's yeah. So obviously the last slide is more like a paint by numbers. So if you follow the last slide, that's like a paint by numbers way to do this. Now there's a tool made by our friends Kyle Roof and Andrew Stevens. Hi guys from High Voltage SEO. They've got a tool called Page Optimizer Pro. There's different tools out there that do different things, but this is a very simple and basic tool to use that gives you a really, really quick way to do this. And what this tool does is when you put a specific keyword term in and your target page that you're working on, it'll sit there and tell you if you're over-optimized for keywords or under-optimized. It might seem weird, but you can actually be over-optimized for keyword terms. So you might have... So what they do is they find the top 10 results, as far as I understand, and they figure out what the correlation is between, the top 10 results and what the average is. So you might find that if you're doing a page on smoothie recipes, your competitors might have the keyword in the page title 2 times. Probably won't be 2 times, but let's just say the body content. Let's just say that the smoothie recipes is in the body content 5 times, and that's the maximum. It's in the body content. But you have smoothie recipes in the body content 15 times, then you're actually over optimized. So you're gonna have to take some of those keywords out.
Mm-hmm.
And it works the other way too. You're going to find out where you're under optimized. So you basically run a report for the keyword term, and it's going to go through and show you specifically what your target ranges are for keywords. Now, working on that, the most important things, and this is probably the best takeaway from this as well, if you're not going to use the tool, I think you get some free credits if you want to use it, which is great. But the most important takeaway here is there's 4 groups of I suppose HTML or places to put your keywords. And group A is the most important. So you need to make sure you have your page title, your heading 1, body content, and URL needs to have your keyword in it no matter what. Like this is obviously, I mentioned that before as well, because you need to back this up. Now, if you want to get the competitive edge, you need to look at the group B keywords. And this is what we find a lot of the time, that a lot of people don't have this going on. So you want to have your headings 2, 3s, and 4s, and also your anchor text as keyword optimized as well. And we find this all the time. A lot of websites will have their H1 optimized, but not heading 2, 3, and 4. And these, if you just do heading 2, 3, and 4, and you do green smoothies with spinach, or let's just say you do green smoothie recipes with spinach, you might be able to bump yourself up for smoothie recipes and also green smoothies with spinach. So it's really, really important to add those H2, 3s, and 4s. That's a really, really easy win. And obviously Group C and Group D are less important, which is obviously bold, italic, image alts. And less important is obviously schema, open graph, and HTML tags as well. So like, if you follow this process and you use Page Optimizer Pro or other tools, we also have another friend that has a tool called Cora, which is a more sophisticated version of the same thing. And this system works well because what it's doing is it's basically showing you what's ranking already in Google, what kind of range you need to be in to order to do this properly.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that this is kind of disregard everything on the last slide. So these are obviously two different ways to go about this. And I mean, which would you recommend? Which is quote unquote better?
So the way that I'd recommend to do this, it really depends on the level of sophistication in your SEO strategy. The way that we'd probably do this is we would throw out the most efficient way would be to throw out your 10 to 20 or 30,000 words, or so we say 1,000 words per page. So you chuck out your pages, do this the first version. So you do keyword in heading 1, into the URL, page title, heading 1, and do the paint by numbers way. So you do heading in keyword in the first paragraph, last paragraph, and body of text. And we just chuck out those 10, 20, 30 pages, and then we see what sticks. If something's sticking really well for us, then we can go in and fine tune the page. And that's probably the best way to use this process, because you can go in and fine tune every single page from the start, which is not bad. And if you only have 5 pages of the website, then obviously, go in and fine tune every single page. But a lot of our clients, we're pushing out a lot of pages every month, so we don't have the time to go in and fine tune everything. So it depends on how sophisticated your SEO strategy is.
So we're going to be kind of moving into wrapping up here. It's funny because Bree mentioned to me before we started, he said, Jake, I don't know if I have 30 minutes of content. And here we are 50 minutes later, and wrapping up here. No, it was great though. And I know something different that I was trying to do is, rather than do all the questions at the end, I tried to be a little more engaging and answer a couple questions as we went if I felt they were relevant. And now we're still going to do our normal combined Q&A at the end here. So if you have any more questions, guys, definitely let us know. Also, let me know if you prefer questions as we go, or if you want to just do a huge Q&A at the end. I think if we have the bulk of questions I kind of like this, and I feel like we were able to answer some questions as they were relevant. But anyway, before we do get to more, so before we get to that Q&A, one thing I want to touch on here is a listing that we have here, and something I want to talk about with it. So listing 44571 on empireflippers.com, empireflippers.com/listing/44571 for more information on this listing. It's an e-commerce business, kitchen and dining. There are the numbers. Obviously, it's a business that is doing quite well. And in addition to something I mentioned earlier about using a PBN being a way to jumpstart your business, obviously buying a business is a way to jumpstart yourself. But anyway, what I want to talk about with this is being an e-commerce business. Typically, when I think about, and Bree, you said the same thing before we hopped on. You and I were talking about this. But typically, when you think about SEO and writing articles and writing content and all of that stuff, you think about affiliate sites, Amazon associate sites. Those are the businesses that at least I think of as being more organic traffic oriented. So with an e-commerce site, you're selling your own products. I know you said it's a mountain of a topic, and we'll have to have you on some other time to talk about this, but in like 3 minutes, what are the big key points that you want to hit when talking about SEO for e-commerce?
We love e-commerce. Basically, e-commerce is our bread and butter. The reason why e-commerce is our bread and butter is because it has so much long tail in it. If you're doing a very niche product, you won't have too much long tail. But let's just say you have a flat screen TV, online flat screen TV business. Every single year, there's so many new more models coming out. And we find that if you're creating these product pages in we're actually working with a client at the moment that has over 10 million products in their database. And it's a monumental, I'm not going to say it's a mind game. And it's very sophisticated to kind of like to structure websites and kind of like lay out do the information architecture in that way. If you can do it properly, you're going to get so much traffic from long tail because there's so many keywords out there. And if you're typing in a specific model number for a TV or a pair of shoes or a phone, there's not much competition for those specific keyword terms. So this is why we love e-commerce, because basically it's just so much easier to rank. Now, the little tricks with e-commerce is if you're and these are the easy wins that we normally get. So we come in, the client goes, hey, we've got an e-commerce website, we want to increase our rankings, and then we find that a lot of the time they've got product descriptions from the manufacturer already, and they're using the same product descriptions as probably 20 other people selling the same product. So that what we find is that we basically rewrite those product descriptions, and we're going to get a better, we're going to basically have unique content compared to the other 19 competitors that don't have unique content. And this is really, really important. You need to have unique content on those product listing pages. Also need to have a call to action in the first paragraph to make people actually want to buy the product. And make it salesy. So many product descriptions are just super, super dry. Make it sexy, make it fun. You're trying to sell to someone, you're not trying to read them, a shopping list of what the product is. And once we've done that as well, once you've changed the copywriting on a page, you'll find the conversion increases too. And the other thing that we make sure that we do really well is the internal linking structure. And exactly in the same way from the content style as you saw with the drills, we basically link to related pages as well. And if you get the internal linking structure right, unique content and good copy, you're going to be so much more ahead of your competitors in this situation. So I'd love to see this e-commerce business and analyze the SEO for it, because I'm sure we can get some really, really quick and easy.
I think that's something really interesting that before I go into what I was going to say here, guys, Q&A now. So anything else you have, we have, 5 to 10 more minutes before we need to be wrapping up here. So if you have any more questions, definitely get them on YouTube and Facebook. I do have both of them open. So if you are on either of those platforms, definitely let us know. I guess any questions you have, because we want to help you. So what was I gonna? I was gonna say something that's interesting and that stuck out to me when you were talking about that is, especially with drop shipping, when if you're doing just a standard drop shipping business, you are selling the same products as a lot of other people. And so if you, as you said, a lot, if you've noticed that a lot of people for their product descriptions for their content, they're just kind of copy pasting the product description from the supplier. So if you can kind of differentiate yourself, I mean, that's kind of a big way to, you know, stand apart, right?
100%. So the way that we do this is you create a really tight, you rewrite the content briefing page, you create a structure of internal links in there as well, and then you get it batch written. So let's just say you have, because you might have 10,000 products on you probably won't do 10,000 pages of content, but you create a structure that works really well that has internal links to other pages in there as well, and you just rewrite all those pages. And I promise you, you're going to get a lift in rankings because you're not going to have duplicate content like all your
Mm-hmm.
competitors.
Okay, so now moving into Q&A, we got Aaron Yap. Category silo pages, is it a product category page?
Let me just pull up the carousel pages. Is it a product? Yes. So the way this works, that's a very good question, Aaron. So the way this works is it is the category seller pages is a product page, is a product category page. So let's just say we're talking about cordless power tools. So on this page here, we're going to have probably 500 to 1,000 words on cordless power tools. And it's going to be, the URL will be example.com slash power tools slash cordless power tools. On this page here, we're basically going to have 1,000 words of content that's kind of hidden, but it's on the page. We use the expandable and collapsible boxes. And we put 1,000 words of content in there. And this is basically our category page. And in this category page, we're going to have the cordless drills, cordless planers, and cordless hammer, and any other, subcategories in the same niche. So yes, that's an answer to your question. I hope that.
Jack Golding, do you think domain age is super important if you were looking at procuring e-commerce sites, or is it more about the backlinks?
Well, domain age, it's more about the backlinks, honestly. Like, it really depends on the niche, and it depends on. I would go for backlinks any day because it doesn't matter if your domain is 20 years old. If it hasn't got a backlink on it, then it's not gonna do very well. So that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Okay then.
Yeah. So there,
I was just gonna say your sentence ended abruptly. I wasn't prepared for the end of your sentence.
Okay. Well,
it's okay. I forgive you. I forgive you this one time, Bree. So Jack also asks, and on the backlink, seems to me it's very valuable to get a good network of people who can give you backlinks. Beats cold outreach anyway, in parentheses. But it's not something SEOs really talk about.
If you talk about a good network of people, if you mean a PBN, then we probably wouldn't. Okay. Any tips on making sure these backlinks are not from a PBN? So what you essentially want, a good network of people, actually the term would be webmasters. You need to have good webmasters. So you're obviously going to have to do something to get those backlinks. You need to obviously write content for them or whatever kind of relationship you have with those people. So yes, it basically, to be honest with you, 3 good backlinks is going to do more for you than 100 crappy backlinks. So less is more when it comes to backlinks. And to be honest with you, cold outreach emails is not that much work. It does take a bit of getting the process set up, but if you're committed to it, you're going to get those backlinks. It's not that hard. People are really, really scared of doing guest posting and cold outreach. It's not that hard. Trust me. You just got to send a few emails. You got to roll your sleeves up and send some emails.
And doing guest posts and having other people guest post on your site can be a very powerful tool in building those connections. So that's definitely a strategy you could try. Justin asking, do you write content for websites? Do you write content?
Yes, we do. I'm just actually writing in the chat now. Our website.
So as he's doing that, that's gonna kind of wrap it up for us as he's answering Justin's question in chat, and we're also gonna kind of let him plug himself for a sec, so that'll also let you find him.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
yeah. So yeah, sorry. It said I can't actually add. I can't actually add. I couldn't do it because I put a URL in there. So apparently putting URL is not good.
um,
So
yeah. So okay. A link to Bree's services will be provided in the description of this webinar. I don't know if it's there now. I'll go and edit the description afterward anyway. So if it's not there, it'll be there, Justin. If you want to reach out to Bree, you'll find a link there. But with that said, Bree, where can people find you? And you also mentioned you have a conference coming up. What's going on with that?
yeah. So the conference actually is probably the more sexy. So yes, just to come back to what Justin's saying. Yes, we write content for websites. We have 4 full-time content writers. We write so much content, it's not funny. So if you want to get some content written, our website is wldm.io. So that is wldm.io.
WLDM? Okay,
Yep, .io.
WLDM.io.
That's our agency website. So we do all kinds of SEO in there, technical SEO. We specialize in technical SEO and also content as well because we've got over 10 years experience in technical stuff. So we're very, very experienced. We're a bespoke agency that does high level SEO.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jack Goldings wrote, I heard some really good things about Bree's conference last year. People in my specialty, web analytics, super excited about it. Thanks, Jack.
So how much
Yeah, so
did
that
you
brings us
pay
up-
Jack Bree to get him to
I don't
say
even-
that?
I didn't pay Jack anything. I'm sorry if I've met you before, Jack. Your name looks familiar, but I can't place you. So I hope you can come along to the 2-hour conference. Obviously, yeah, I didn't pay him anything. So basically we have a conference. It's called DMSS, Digital Marketing Skillshare. It's a conference in Bali. It's a digital marketing conference that covers SEO, social media, PPC, CRO, web analytics. And it's basically 2-day conference. It's actually a week-long conference. The main conference is 2 days. We have over 30 international speakers. We have speakers from Google, Moz, Ahrefs, SEMrush, HubSpot, Buffer, Hootsuite, ActiveCampaign. I can't even think of any more names, but there's a lot there. So we have a massive list of speakers coming to our conference, and it's going to be amazing. And then what we do is we have the 2-day conference and we have a 1-day mastermind. And in there, we basically go through people's websites and do like site links with them with all the experts. Then we take the 30 speakers to a resort, and then we have attendees come along as well. And we spend 3 days of all the speakers, and we can sit there, we can ask them questions, we can mastermind with them, we go out for drinks, we do a lot of social activities, and we just spend 3 days with the best digital marketers in the world in Bali, in tropical paradise. It's amazing. Ask anyone that's been to our conference last year. It was totally phenomenal. And this year, our lineup is just epic. It's going to be so good. It's in October, the 5th and 6th of October. So make plans now, book your tickets, check it out because it's amazing here. There's such a great lifestyle here. A lot of digital nomads, a lot of tech people here. They're calling it Silicon Valley. And we've got a great community out here. And if you want to learn more about SEO or any of these things, then this is the place to come. Hang out with people like me and us, and we can just kind of powwow together and get you guys ranking well.
And people can find more information about your conference on your website. Like that's on the site.
Oh no, It's we have another website for that. It's www.dmss.io.
Okay, and we'll also go ahead and throw that in the description as well. So, guys, if you are looking to get hold of Bree, you don't need to be copying things down right now. We'll definitely be posting it in. And for his comment about, ask anyone who went, it's awesome. I mean, ask Jack Golding, the guy he clearly paid for the promotion here. No,
yeah. So
oh.
Well, apparently we met 2 years ago, Melbourne. Hey, Jack. Sorry, I'll meet you again. I'm coming back to Melbourne soon.
And something that's really exciting is Empire Flippers is actually speaking at DMSS as well. So
that is true.
I don't know exactly who is going from. Oh, Greg's
Greg
speaking. Oh,
speaking.
I love Greg.
So
We've had him on the webinar, and so Greg's awesome. So Greg from Empire Flippers is speaking as well, and it'll be an awesome conference. We hope to see you all there. And beyond that, Bree, thank you so much for being with us today. I really hope that you enjoyed it.
cool. Yeah, it was great fun. Thanks for having me on, Jake, and great
Mhm.
audience as well. Some engaging questions there, and yeah, I appreciate you guys
Yeah,
having me
I mean,
on.
this was awesome, and for the people, everyone who asked a question, Justin, Jack, Aaron, Viola hanging out the whole time. Anyone else I missed, guys? Really glad to have you guys have you all here. We'll be back next week, same time. So what is that? Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern time, which is funny because so not next week, but the following week, and then through a month or two this summer, I'll be in Asia. So it'll be middle of the night for me. But we hope to see you all here again, and we'll be coming at you every single week for excellent content like this. We hope it's really helpful to you. Subscribe to Empire Flippers on YouTube, like our Facebook page if you're watching on Facebook, and subscribe to our mailing list, empireflippers.com, if you like this kind of content and want to see more. At the end of the day, guys, we just really want to help you, and we hope that we achieve this goal. Bree, thank you again so much for being here.
Cool. Thanks for having me. And shout out to Viola too for
Mm-hmm.
listening too. And
Everyone, thank you for watching, and have a fantastic day.
bye.